Hello. The hot news this week is that the North American Scrabble Players Association has decided to remove 238 offensive words from its official word list. They're scrolling below for your information, and this has caused huge controversy, which is all about one word, pommy, an Australian word for an Englishman. The Aussies are saying, "We've never used this word offensively, it's just friendly." And the English are saying, "We know, we've never taken offence." So it's a crazy situation. The word pommy could actually appear on a list of the world's friendliest words. Anyway, the Americans are causing a lot of offence by refusing to remove this word from their list of offensive words. And they say it's because their source dictionary, Merriam-Webster, describes the word as offensive. Now, it is possible that this is just a dictionary typo, and inoffensive was meant rather than offensive. But Merriam-Webster have not made any comment to clarify this. This is all very reminiscent of the Percolin scandal from the 1990s, which some of you remember and some of you may not be aware of, so I'll briefly explain. The source dictionary Chambers defined Percolin as a small bird, but someone wrote into a Scrabble magazine saying, "Is it really a bird? I've never seen one." Then someone said they couldn't find any pictures of one. And someone else said that the word doesn't seem to appear in any other dictionary. Is it a mistake? Well, Chambers never made a public comment, and they didn't remove the word, so it remains valid in Scrabble. And this is the current definition, which is absolutely fantastic. Possibly mythical. So also possibly real. And supposedly a cross. Well, who's doing the supposing? Who knows? So, the Percolin scandal has never been fully resolved, but it has now been eclipsed by Pommygate. And this is one reason I love the Scrabble world. There is always something fun happening. Anyway, let's play Scrabble with a full word list while we can. Here we go. So, it's my opponent to go first. I've got a grim rack. My opponent's got a brilliant one. So, what to do here? I feel that this is too good to change. I do have one of the offensive words, or very offensive words, on my rack at the moment, but I'm not sure that that's the best one. In fact, I think this certainly eclipses any placement of that word. So, I can play Cutty for 24, and this is quite a good rack leave. Brilliant, I have retunes. Will I get to play that or something better? I also have a ton of bingos through this I in the middle of the board, but none of them beginning or ending with an I. And retunes also has anagrams. Night Trial, I think, takes an S, so do I have a 7 with the S in the middle? Neuters, retunes, what else? Maybe it is just the 2. Cutty takes nothing in front. Column 4 isn't a double-double lane. What else is available? I'm assuming that Night Trial takes an S. It surely must do with this ending. Wow, nice score for opponent, 30 points. So the best I'm seeing is a column 11 bingo, and I don't think anything else is going to score more, so it's just a case of neuters or retunes, and retunes doesn't place any vowels next to premium squares. Great, I have driving. Not sure that that will play, but it's always nice to have a bingo on your rack. And I have deriving in column 10, fantastic. Hopefully that will remain available. It's not an obvious place to block, or to play rather. I think column 5 next to Waxen. Wow, that was close. Opponent very nearly did block my spot. So I have deriving. Do I have anything better? Well, not too many 7-letter lanes to consider. possibly virgined in row C, and that would have the advantage. Wow, that would actually be quite good because it would provide absolutely nothing, whereas deriving would provide a ton of floaters. And virgined would also interrupt playing in column 5. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm about 98. So virgined for 65, and it's good. Fantastic. So after a dreadful start for me, only in that my opponent bingoed straight out of the blocks, I do now have a slender lead. This is quite a nice rack, but I don't think it is a bingo-y one, and certainly the board is no longer bingo-y. I do have Bog in column 8, which would sort the rack out. Pants is quite a nice 5-letter set. Do I have a play in column 5? I thought my opponent had played then, but he hadn't. Well, I don't, because I'd be looking to play off the B or the P, and I don't have any such play. And I still don't. Now, Bog has some attraction in that it leaves a good rack leave of pants, but the score's a bit weak. So what I'm thinking of is, what about Boap? That's 33 points, and this rack leave isn't too shabby. There are a lot of tiles which go in front of AG, but nothing goes in front of PI. And just an O going in front of BI, so this isn't massively dangerous, and I think the score justifies it. Neither my B or P goes in front of X. So I am going with this. Yipes, it must be Boap, not Boap. I did have that slight doubt. So let me again pause, because Bog was my initial thought, and initial thoughts are often not the best thoughts. So I could play Bop and Paw, and this has some merit. There are 2 blanks and 1 S to come. Spore is good, and I have an S on my rack, so this spot may be more beneficial for me than it is for opponent, and this rack leave goes well with the E of night trials. It is only 24 points, which isn't huge. Can I do any better? Not sure I can. I am going... Well, I could stick an S on the end straight away. Only 9 more points. Well, the S benefits my rack by more than that. Well, there could be a bingo here. Montaignes and non-meets through an E. Possibly... I mean, there's a 7 here, I think, but I'm not sure there are too many 7 lanes. And certainly, if there is a 7, it doesn't play in column 1, because I think it's going to begin with an M. So any other floaters I haven't considered? I don't think so. My M can go in front of Y. Wow. Well, great score for opponent, 71. He retakes the lead. But do I have a bingo? Because this is available for bingos starting MA. Mantons, that's the only one which is ringing a slight bell, and it's not a particularly loud one. Am I confusing this with something? I think I do need to play in this spot as opposed to playing in row B, where I can't get rid of my N. There's something not right about this, Mantons. I'm not even going to try it. So I think I'll play Manteau, keeping N and S for 31. Well, quite nice in that I've got 2 scoring tiles which go well together, but this isn't bingo-y nice. I do have House in column 1 for quite a big score. Fakir takes an S. Cutty doesn't take either my W or H in front of it. Manto takes an S. I have WOG in column 8, which is on the forbidden list, the American forbidden list. I have WOA on my rack, but nowhere for that. Poor only takes an S in front. Well, opponent takes out my S hook, but leaves alone the how spot, so I get to keep the S, and the S was pretty marginal. So I've got how for 37. Is there anything better? I don't think so. Well, not terrible, not great. I have Jag in column 8. It would be nice to get rid of the B as well. I would have Basenji onto an I, not as a bingo. 24 for opponent, so I still trail by about 25, but I am in the game and both blanks to come. So it would be nice to play off a lot of tiles, but I don't think I can do that with this rack. Just looking to see if I've got a play in column 8, but I don't. I certainly am looking to get rid of the J, given that I have the S on my rack, and this floating E of night trials looks useful. Now I have Benj. That would be a way of getting rid of the B and the J. Let me see what this scores. That's 30, which is quite nice. There are quite a few E's to come, and there is the E of night trials. The alternative would be Jag for 33, 3 more points. Keeping blends. I think ALS feels more flexible. And also it turns over more tiles with the blanks unplayed. But is there a better spot for Benj? Well, maybe. What about playing it in column 10? This is 30. Although I'm covering the floating E, I'm retaining one on my rack, and I'm leaving alone the D and N of Fend, which both go well with this rack. So anything even better. "13 minutes on my clock." Not sure there is. I'm going with this. Not good at all. I just duplicate tiles on my rack, which is always pretty wretched. And no scoring tiles for the first time. I have a lead, but it's just 7 points. So I'm looking to play off the duplicates. Fortunately, the J is available, and also fortunately, opponent doesn't have a massive score. I do need to satisfy myself that I don't have a bingo on my rack. So how about the D? No. How about the N? No. So I think the obvious place to play is Ale. 15 points. Yeah, and if opponent plays in column 12, he'll be creating a new lane in column 13. And although this is an equal number of vowels and consonants, so not as ideal as a consonant-heavy rack leave, it's still a pretty good 4-letter set. But only 15 points, and providing such easy scoring opportunities, I don't feel great about that. So would something like Lane be better? Only dropping 3 points but providing nothing for opponent? I think it would. Can I do better? Well, I could play... Well, I was going to say Lee, but that's L-E, not good. I am going with Lane. Interesting. Onto a D, I would have Sail Yard, but I don't think there are any anagrams of that, so the D of Fend not available. Fend does take a Y at the end, which I've just drawn. So I might play something like Leary. And the reason for playing something like Leary would be to draw one of these blanks, which are increasingly haunting me. However, if I played off just AY somewhere, the rack lead would be pretty fantastic. So is there anywhere good to play AY or AYL? I think I need to play down here because of the score. I can get 40 points here, which is massive, and I'm forking the board, providing 2 spots for my S, and I'm not providing access to a triple word square, so opponent's going to be restricted in how he can score off this. Remaining tile's pretty bingo-y, so I could be about to be on the receiving end of the bingo, but if I am, I'm in reasonable shape for responding with one of my own. Just wondering about yield, but I don't think that's good. I'm going with year. Well, nice pickup. I have Dear Soil, ISO lead, possibly a third, neither of which ends in an S. There we go. Those are the blanks, both of them. Opponent takes a 60-point lead, and I am going to be able to come back with a bingo. Yeared is good, so I have ISO lead in row N, but I'd like to play something better. Let me see if I have anything which runs parallel to Goldies. That would need to be at the top because Joys takes nothing. So ISO lead doesn't play. What about Dia Soil? Wow, that so nearly makes it. Well, it doesn't. It fails at the first with the G hook. But I think there may be a third anagram here. ISO lead, Dear Soil. 10 minutes on my clock. What am I thinking of? And I feel it quite strongly that there's a third here. Well, it's not coming to mind, but Dear Soil's quite nice. It gets the word doubled. 79 points. And I'm just wondering whether I should play that in row N, making years to provide openings to 2 triple word squares. Quite tempting. Because if I play just Dear Soil, opponent takes out... Well, this is providing access to 2, so this is fine. And no scoring tiles left, just the P. So I'm going with, well, what about a play through the N or the D? Let me put this back. Nodalize doesn't play. Does Nodalize have an anagram? I don't think so. Is there a play through the D? I don't think so. Let me go back to my play. Dear Soil for 79. Not a good pickup at all. However, I've emptied the bag and opponent's rack is not particularly great. Although he can sort it out very easily with Augur, leaving himself just ES. So this could be quite a tight ending to the game. And look at this, neither my C nor my P plays underneath Dear Soil. So I don't have a big comeback play in row O, and I am looking to play off the P and the C, because if I don't, it'll stay on my rack and count against me with count back. This is a wretched pickup, but I guess there were just a lot of vowels in the bag. I don't have anything to go on the end of year. So where can I play P and C? I have peace on my rack. But C, a really unhelpful tile for parallel plays because there's only one 2-letter C word, CH. Maybe I've got to play through the N. And I think I do. I think I have Poonce, P-O-O-N-C-E, for 20 points. Will that be enough? Supposing opponent does play Augur. That would be 27. He would be on 324, so I'd trail by 7. I would get 20, so I'd lead by 13. Opponent would need about 9 with ES, and I think he would achieve that, so I would need to find something better than Poons. R only takes an E after it. I'm not sure it would need to be massively better than Poons. There aren't a ton of ES spots on the board. But it would need to be better, and that's supposing opponent finds Augur. So where else can I play off C and P? And maybe there's an alternative option through the N which gets one of those tiles on this double letter square. Just not seeing it. And what's the best I've got in row O at bottom left? Probably Pone. Sorry, I don't have an N. So in that case, absolutely nothing. Ah, well, what about Coped in row M? 33 points. Well, now we're talking. That could be enough. And maybe that's why opponent's delaying Augur if he's spotted Coped. Maybe he's trying to work out if he can still win. I'm fortunate that after Augur, opponent can't pluralise Fakir and go out. Nor can he pluralise Manto or Zit and go out, but this is all supposing he plays Augur. Now 11 minutes on opponent's clock, so he's got plenty of time to find his best play. The best I've seen for myself is Coped. Is there something even better? Well, not that I can see, or not that I've seen so far. 11 minutes on opponent's clock, 8 on mine, so neither of us in time trouble. Okay, so opponent takes my Coped spot, turns down Augur, leaves 2 U's on his rack. What is he thinking of? And I don't mean that pejoratively. Maybe he has got an out spot with USU. I've got 8 minutes on my clock. Eurus is good. That doesn't play here. Nothing through the N, nothing through the L. There's Ulu. Ah, there's Sulu. Okay, so I do need to play down here, but opponent may not have another spot. He leads by 6 points. So what if I play Polo? That's 27. I'm not going out next turn, but is opponent... Wow, this is a tricky situation. Opponent took a long while choosing this play, and I'm, well, respectful of that. Has he seen something I'm missing? So this is 27 points. What about playing Pooh across here? Well, that's the same. Can I extend this? Not sure I can. So what other options are available? I'm looking for an option which gives me an out in 2. And I do need to block Sulu. I certainly can't play Poons because that would set up Sulu. Is there no way I can play my C? And I think it's my C which is stopping me going out in 2. Well, plus all of the vowels that I've got. So I could play coal rather than polo for the same score, and that would leave PEIO. Can I go out with that? Well, yes, because I would have opine. And what if that's blocked? Well, if it is blocked, opponent wouldn't score very much. The best he could do, I think, would be sun for 6. So do I have a decent score with my P? Well, I do, because I can play poi, pi, and or for over 20 points. So if opponent does just do a weedy block of opine, then I don't think that's going to be enough for him. It would still be nice to have a guaranteed out in 2. And there's still the possibility that opponent has got a second out that I just haven't seen. Let's find out. Coal for 27. So at the moment, my plan is opine or poi, and both of us have still got a lot of time. I wonder if augur would have been enough. Well, opponent hasn't played instantly, which is encouraging. Now, what I'd like to do is find something better than poi, and what would be absolutely best would be an alternative out to opine. That may be too much to ask for. There's no 4-letter play with this rack. I keep returning to the top right of the board, but nothing is offering itself there. Or probably the best I can see. 7 minutes on opponent's clock. Ohm only takes an S after it, so I don't have any play through that R. Now, I note that I could have played Cop, but as I mentioned, opponent did have an out with Sulu, so I was compelled to block that spot, and Cop wouldn't have. Opponent could play Us, OU, and Dear Soils. That would be quite a decent score. £16 points, 439. But then I would go out with Opine, so it's not going to be enough. I think opponent has to block Opine, and he doesn't. And he provides nothing new. So, Opine for 14. And the final score, 438 for my opponent, 460 for me, a winning margin of 22 points, so a huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first, and he had this fantastic rack, Lintier and Night Trial. And I came back with Cutty, which looks fine. Horrible rack for opponent. Plays off the X with Waxen. And I've drawn well and have a choice of bingos. But neuters and retunes score the most. Now, opponent, good spot here, getting rid of the F and the Q with Fakir. And I have a choice of bingos. I hadn't appreciated that driving was 7 points better than Virgin, but I still think I would have preferred Virgin, because comparing the scoring opportunities available for opponent after this play, Virgin is a lot better. Now, great rack for opponent. No bingo. He has Seek for 36. My rack Boaters B2. Okay, that's quite nice. Yeah, good score and taking out this hot Z spot. Instead, I play Bob for 24, keeping a much better rack leave. However, it is 21 points less. Let me just go back. So I played Bob keeping Sant, and if I'd played Boaters, I would have kept NP. So it's Sant versus NP. Well, Sant must be worth about 15 or 16 points, I would say. And NP probably very close to 0, so not 21 points difference. Now, great rack for opponent. Plays Zit and retains both blanks, so he must have been feeling pretty good. And this is my rack. Missed bingo. Wow. J1 antonyms through this Y. What a play that would have been. Gosh. I just wasn't close to finding that, and I think it's because the Y was on the board, so the suffix of NYM didn't come to mind, but it was there. Instead, I play Manto for 31. Now, great rack for opponent. And if I'd played antonyms, opponent could have had a double-double, a triple-triple rather. Now, he does have a choice of bingos, but I don't think he finds any. Plays that for 35, which actually isn't going to be particularly inferior to these plays, given the value of the retained blanks. Now, I trail by 40. And I have How for 37, which looks fine. Opponent doesn't have a bingo, plays Fend. And now I play Benge for 33, and I like that. And we're absolutely neck and neck, just 7 points between us. Opponent's rack. Wow, Devildom, very difficult to see through the D of Fend. Opponent plays Vig for 21. Now B10, Ariel. Yeah, that's worth considering because it doesn't take an S. Scores quite well, nice rack leave. And I play Lane for 12. Keeping Seal. Yeah, Ariel, I think, a better play. Opponent's rack, a choice of bingos, but I think they're all pretty difficult to see. And opponent plays Ohm. My rack. And I play Year for 40. I-12. Allay available because Joel is good and the Y would have got doubled next to the M, so I think Allay would have been better. Opponent does now bingo with Goldies, and I trail, but I have a bingo on my rack, and it doesn't look like there is a third anagram, although there may be one which doesn't play, and N2 Dear Soil scores most. So I lead by 20 points. What are opponent's choices? Wow, Sorger for 32. Quite possibly that would have been enough to win the game. And the one I saw was Augurs for 30. But opponent played none of those, played Gare for 26. And I trail by 6. And I played Cole for 27. Nothing obviously better. And I'm immediately scanning the rack leaves to see if there are any outs for the following turn. Now, opponent doesn't have an out. Plays Us for 15, and Opine is my only out, and it's enough to get me over the line. So, what a game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Brilliant start for opponent. I was then able to catch up, but opponent had both blanks and took a late lead. I was able to come straight back with Dear Soils, and we're then into an endgame situation. I don't know if opponent had a win in that endgame situation, but it was jolly tight, and he may have done. So, all good fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.